Hello there, and welcome to the end of 2019 and the 2010s as we know it. As of the date of this recording, December 31st, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. And no holding back, tomorrow is January 1st, 2020. Can you believe it? Honestly, I can't. Time flies so fast. I can't even process what happened in 2017. But now, as we look back on the decade as a summary, some of us tried to look back and reflect on what they did. But now, today, right now, I am here to reflect with you about the best phones of 2019. So, this is Yaseen Azzam, and you're listening to the Phone Awards 2019. Hello there, and welcome to the Phone Awards 2019. This is the first annual competition where I host the biggest phone competition of all time. What do I mean by that? Well, every year in December, I post polls asking you, the listener, what are your opinions about the best phone in a specific category? Now, no phone is perfect. That's why we don't have a perfect phone. Only about a specific category. So with that, let's start with the first category, which is cameras. Yeah, who'd have thunk it? We are talking about cameras first, other than every other thing. So, as usual, with basically every phone, you have to have a good camera, otherwise you won't like it. So that is why I have taken the liberty of asking you, the listener, what your thoughts are about the best camera in a phone ever. Now, let's see the nominees. The nominees are iPhone 11 Pro Max, Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, the Huawei P30 Pro, and the Google Pixel 4 XL. Now, all four of these phones have one of the best flagship cameras of all time on a phone, but only one winner can come out on top, and the winner is the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now, it is not a surprise that iPhone has one of the best video recording software, and I might say that in fact the best image processing ever. It has a triple camera setup on the back, just like most phones this year, a 12 megapixel f1.8 regular camera, a 12 megapixel f2.0 telephoto camera with 2 times optical zoom, and a 12 megapixel f2.4 ultra wide camera. And now, of course, with one of the weirdest features on a selfie camera, selfies. Honestly, this isn't a surprise that the iPhone 11 Pro Max is the winner for best camera on a phone. Now, let's go to our next category, which is battery. Now, of course, what kind of phone would be used if you can't even stay on it for long? Of course, with every phone, there has to be a charging rate and battery life. So here we use both into consideration. So the nominees for the best battery of all time on this phone is iPhone 11 Pro Max, again, the Asus ROG Phone 2, the Huawei P30 Pro, and the Samsung M30. Now, all of these phones have both great charging speeds and great battery life. But for the first time in the Phone Awards history, we have a tie between the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Huawei P30 Pro. Now, it is not a surprise that both of them won, but what is a surprise is the fact that neither of the big batteries won. The Asus ROG Phone 2 and the Samsung M30 both have a humongous 6000 mAh battery, which is huge. But hey, it is your decision. It is a tie between the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Huawei P30 Pro. The Huawei P30 Pro has a battery size of 4200 mAh and has a charging speed with, of course, Huawei's supercharge of maximum 40 watts. And of course, let's not forget the iPhone, the challenger. Apple has certainly made a comeback in terms of battery life with a 3046 mAh battery and an 18-watt charging brick in the box, which charges up to 50% in 30 minutes. Now, both of these phones could stay more than a day without a doubt, but this is a very exciting round because it was very surprising. We had surprising winners, and let's see the next category, which is performance. Of course. Why wouldn't you buy a phone that can do anything that you want it to do? Who wants to get a phone that is not powerful enough to keep up with his own demands? So that's why performance is very important to phones. But some consumers don't think that way. But not these four. These four phones do not care about anyone. These are the most powerful phones you can find that released in 2019. The Asus ROG Phone 2, the iPhone 11 Pro, the OnePlus 7T Pro McLaren Edition, and the Xiaomi Black Shark 2. Of course, all of these phones are kings of performance, but only one can stand on top. So the winner of the best performance of any phone goes to the iPhone 11 Pro. Now this one was quite a surprise because half of the nominees were specifically made for gaming use, but you, the audience, chose the iPhone 11 Pro. Now, of course, it doesn't disappoint with performance. With the Apple A13 Bionic chipset and a hexa-core CPU and a 4-core graphics GPU, it doesn't disappoint at all. It could run any program you'd want it to and even more. It is so fast that you won't even know what is going on. But of course, it's not the fastest chipset. More on that on Friday's episode. And now, let's head over to the fourth category, which is display. Of course. Why wouldn't you want to see what you are doing? How will you read without a good display? Heck, how will you read without a display? But of course, now the nominees for the best display in a phone released in 2019 are the OnePlus 7 Pro, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and the Asus ROG Phone 2. Now, all these phones, great screens, great screen-to-body ratios. Only one of them has a notch. But of course, there can only be one winner. And the winner for the best display is the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. There is no comparison, there is no competition. The only thing I'm surprised about is that the OnePlus 7 Pro did not win, especially because it's the only one that has a 90Hz refresh rate. Of course, you could say that with the Asus ROG Phone 2 and it's 120Hz refresh rate, but the OnePlus 7 Pro is OLED. So, honestly, it's not disappointing at all. Heck, Samsung is the company where OnePlus got their screens. So, what makes the Samsung Note 10 Plus screen so special? Well, it has a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED screen with around 91% screen-to-body ratio, around 498 pixels per inch density, and Gorilla Glass 6, HDR10 Plus, and always on display. These make, with Samsung's superpower, which is screens, come on, everything that has a glass and some pixels, Samsung can make it look gorgeous. So it is absolutely no doubt that the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus is the winner for 2019's best display. And now let's go over to the last poll of the year. And this one is the most important because it's the most effective one for buying a phone. And the category is budget. Which phone that won't empty anyone's wallet is most capable as any other expensive flagship phone? Now that is a very serious matter because, I mean, come on, there are just too many mid-range phones and flagship killers out there. So that's why it was very hard for me to narrow it down to these 4 nominees. And they are the OnePlus 7T, the Samsung S10e, the iPhone 11, and the Google Pixel 3a. All of them could fit in anyone's pocket without a doubt. But which one of them is truly worthy of the not a lot of amount of dollars that you can afford easily? So that's why it was a surprise that it was a tie between the OnePlus 7T and the Samsung Galaxy S10e. So what makes those two so special? Now, the OnePlus 7T has a 3800 mAh battery with 8GB of RAM and 128 or 256 GB of UFS 3.0 storage, and of course coupled with one of the strongest chipsets ever, the Snapdragon 855 Plus. It has a 6.55-inch Fluid AMOLED screen with a 90Hz refresh rate and HDR10. Now, all of these sound fantastic, coupled with a triple camera setup that's actually not quite bad, and it's one of the first phones to come with Android 10 out of the box. And how much is it now? $600. Nothing more than that. And now, of course, with the Samsung Galaxy S10e, it has a 3100 mAh battery with 6 to 8 GB of RAM. It has the new Snapdragon 855 or the Exynos 9820 if you don't live in the US or China. And what else does it have? Well, it's IP68 dust and water resistant. It has a 5.8-inch dynamic AMOLED screen with HDR10 Plus and an always-on display. And it has a fingerprint reader on the side. And how much is it? $400. Seriously, you can buy a Samsung phone for $400 only. Now, this is a very exciting category because there are so many newcomers and old-timers in this industry of phones. So it's always fascinating when you see a company like Samsung trying to pick up the trends of OnePlus, Xiaomi, Redmi, Oppo. So I cannot wait for 2020 to roll out and we get to see the nuclear weapon that is called the S11. And with that, we close 2019 entirely. Thank you so much for listening to this very special episode of Check with Tech, your guide to all things tech. I'm your host, Yaseen Azzam, and I hope I see you next year, probably next decade, who knows. Thank you so much for listening. Please check out the other episodes of this podcast. Don't be afraid to leave your review on Apple Podcasts. And this is Yaseen Azzam signing out. See you next decade.